Hello. Projects like ours tend to take a very long time. But when I compare this exact time of year last year to what I have now, it's much easier to see how far we've come and how much progress we can make in a similar timeline. Especially now that we've gotten started, we can make a lot more progress in the coming year, I think. So I'm going to try to walk backwards here while also talking to you. So I wanted to show you just a little bit of some of the progress we've made. I I know this about myself. I have a tendency to want to start new projects rather than finish other ones, and that will probably never change about me. But the good thing about that is that I can make a lot of noticeable progress quickly, and then once it's all in place, kind of established, then I can go through and take my time on the details. And so I think my tendency there is actually a strength in this case, in some ways. But I don't know if you can see it here, but we've made this entire circular pathway, and so it goes. Try to trace it here. Goes up to the back of the house there to the art studio, but it goes around to this other thing and around by this train station and around to this shed and that shed, and then I'm building one right there. There will be other sheds set back a little bit there, and there, so we'll have a lot. So it's going to follow this circular pattern, and we're going to move the trampoline probably and put another shed over here. And then where the pool is now, we'll fence that off, and that won't be part of our like public space. But eventually the pool's going to break. It's it's not that high quality like those kind of pools are. So eventually we'll plan on having a pond there that goes into the other pond. But I'll just share things. I don't know if you've seen them before, maybe not. So I've been learning how to make very strong, thin-walled concrete things. These happen to be just large rocks that I was kind of experimenting with, just learning the trade, so to speak. That one's 4 feet tall-ish. I don't know, something like that, 4.5 feet tall. And I was kind of testing the limits of this. It's fiber reinforced concrete. Some of you may have heard of that. It has fiberglass and some modern additives in just cement mixed with sand, mixed with these additives and some glass fiber. And it's amazing how strong I can get on that and jump on it, and yet it's only it's less than half an inch thick. But yeah, pretty impressive. So with that proof of concept, I now can do things like that fiberglass pumpkin that I made a couple years ago can now be made out of concrete, which is a lot less expensive, but just as strong. So because the fiberglass resin is actually where that gets expensive, and yeah, I can do all kinds of sculptural and architectural details on these sheds and other buildings. So behind me, it's rained a lot lately. I really need to, and have been working on getting these all like closed in with house wrap, but I just haven't gotten around to that one yet. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll get the lights. Oh, did they just turn on? Anyway, I turned around and there they were. The lights are turning on. They're on a timer. That rug was drying. now it's gonna have to dry again. I'm gonna walk past the train station where we've put a second story. Again, on this just little path that goes around. Kind of a nice view there. It sort of shows what we're doing. The idea behind all these different sheds and things is to have a different, like a themed place to visit, and a place where we can use sculptural elements and of course our two-dimensional art, you know, paintings and wallpapering, hand stenciled things like this to decorate the spaces, but also utilize things like I'm learning how to make my own simple animatronics, and so we want to create more or less something akin to like a theme park ride, you know, but it's nestled within this tiny little room. And oh wow, oh, there's an eagle right there. It's right there. It looks a lot closer to me than it does to you. So that's pretty neat. Huh. But within these places, you know, think for example, in one of these spaces we're going to have a I can't remember what we actually officially were going to call it, but like a magical menagerie is what it was. So think like a pet shop with some like somewhat haunted, but in a friendly way. I hate using those words because people get the wrong idea, but just magical things that are you know, you step into one side and you feel like in your regular pet shop, but then by the time you emerge, it's this whole experience, almost like a miniature movie or something in every space. That's a very short version of what we're planning, but you can see see the potential for making all these different spaces. And the reason we're making these spaces small, at least currently, is because we don't have to pay fees with the building inspector to make them this size. But if we make them any larger, we have to pay a $100 fee per building. Not a big deal, but then we have to have the headache of having them come out and, you know, kind of dictate a little bit more what we do. But so that's, oh, you can see we're already planning some of the other pathways around the yard. And eventually with the train station, there needs to be a train, and there will be. And I think I've mentioned before that we are planning on buying metal to make our own tracks and making a miniature train that can actually pull people. So that's pretty exciting. Haven't made it yet, but we have made some progress on the design and the tracks themselves. So, but I'll show you that later. This video is getting longer than I expected it to be and wanted it to be. So, and for those, yeah, had to make some changes to the pathway there. So adding more stuff there and filling it up. Soon, very soon, we're going to be moving this propane tank. I took down an old little structure that was there and cleaned up a lot of stuff there. There's still a lot of stuff still there, but looks a lot better than it did before. But cleaning up that, and we'll move the propane tank out of the way so we have more space to just decorate and make it nice back here. And that'll be in a very soon future video. All this stuff. Okay. For now, I'll wish you a good day and talk to you soon. Bye.